Hey, it's Brian with Boxing Bear Media, and I'm here on the floor of the Boulder Creative Expo, and I'm with Cam Hartmans. He's a cinematographer, he's a director, and he is with Pro Photo Rental, which is, if you don't know about Pro Photo Rental, they rent everything to not just everyone in the Boulder and Front Range community, but you guys ship as well. So I'm really excited to just dive into what you're doing personally, how Pro Photo Rental is doing, and how they can help people in this room. But let's start with just you. So, what have you been working on, Cam? You know, what's keeping you excited?
This is, first of all, I want to give you a shout out because I remember us having extensive conversations at Pro Photo Rental talking about setups and like how you were gonna make the podcast thing happen for you and the fellas, and then have you told the Mike Tyson story? I feel like you've probably told it in
I haven't told it on camera here today. But yes.
Can you tell it real quick? Because that melted my brain.
I
don't want to flip the. If you don't want to, that's
I'm going to keep it really quick because I want to make this about you. But what he's referring to is we do podcasts on trade show floors on location. And we did one at a conference where we were able to get Mike Tyson, who did the podcast with the talent that had hired us. And it was such a zoo. He wasn't sure if he liked how it went. It was just crazy. It was loud. He had 50 security guys. And so he invited us to go back to his luxury hotel at the Ritz in downtown Berlin and refilm it. And so I just got to hang with Mike Tyson and his wife and his business partner and his social media guy and do some filming. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so, you picked up from us one day. You were like, I'm taking this to Berlin.
Yes.
You returned the gear, and you were like, hey, by the way, I got to film Mike Tyson.
Yes.
That was wild.
Mike Tyson has spoken into probably the mic that you're speaking into right now. So
I can feel it.
Just so you guys know, that is a Pro Photo Rental mic that we used today.
Oh, right.
We needed, we had an issue with one of our other mics.
You picked this one up.
I picked that one up today.
From Pro Photo Rental.
Yes, in a pinch, and this is what these guys do. They help creatives create.
That's what we do.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
So, but back to you.
Yes.
So,
okay. I'm sorry to flip it. I just
it's all good.
I
always love telling that story.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to. It's so cool that you're doing this, man, and like the fellows that I've gotten to meet seem like good dudes, and haven't seen them in the shop, but you know, I was sad to miss you today when you picked this up, and then the people at the so Pro Photo Rental, I'm a technician and content creator there, and our whole thing is just helping people create and assisting them in whatever way we can. We don't really have any like brand loyalty. We really believe in the philosophy that it's all about the user, and it's about equipping creative people with the right tools to get the job done and tell the story the best way possible. And it's been a blast working there, just getting to meet guys like you. And like, I would say 25% of the populace here is people that I've gotten to, rent a lens to and talk to about, sensors and sensor cleanings and codecs and stuff. And yeah, it's just a really cool moment to just be hanging out with you here, you doing the podcast thing.
Yeah.
So,
what's really cool about you guys is just how knowledgeable you are. I mean, obviously you've got like a huge range of, products and everything that, anything you need, you can get it there basically. But, you're obviously very involved in filmmaking. I know Derek is a photographer, so you can talk all day about photo lenses and whatever you need for photography. So it's just a really sometimes I'll go in there and I kind of know what I need, but I don't know exactly what I need, or I don't know how it works if it's a new piece of equipment. And you guys are just really good about that.
Yeah. That's really the excuse me. That's really the appeal to me about the rental process. I was actually just talking with Derek and Jared about this, but just the turnover rate of gear is so rapid that sometimes it really makes sense to just rent gear. It makes more sense because the upkeep and just trying to have the hippest, coolest thing can be really troublesome especially if you're an independent artist and creative person. It's terrible for your wallet, and it's been cool to hear people who are wanting to get into filmmaking or are like I've had a few clients talk to me about wanting to use like state-of-the-art gear, and again, I always go back to like, well, it doesn't matter how I could give you the best camera, but if you don't know how to use it, then you're in trouble. But at the same time, it's just nice to have conversations and equip people with what we can.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you guys have been a lifesaver for me. So I used to live about a quarter mile from Pro Photo Rental, so I was in there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started doing this 15 years ago, just guy with camera, and I learned on YouTube University how to do a lot of things. And I was like, oh, I need this to make my films better. I need this to make my shots better. Yeah. And gear is expensive. And so the number of times that I realized I needed something, and this is going back, I think I started renting from you guys at least 7 or 8 years ago, maybe more. But it was saved me so much money, especially if it was a piece of equipment that you don't use on every shoot, that is something more specific. And it was like, I could get it there, give it back, and a minuscule fraction of the cost of, I mean, minuscule. Yeah. And then I was able to get what I need. So, I mean, and to this day, I mean, like I said, in a pinch, we needed an extra mic. Bam, just got it on the way here.
Got your back, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Heck the mic that Mike Tyson spoke into just 8 months ago.
Yeah. That was crazy. Thank you for saying that. That's really kind. Yeah. Some of the things I got going on. So I just shot a short film that I wrote over the last 2 years, last weekend. So I'm ready to drop dead right now because I've been on 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night the last week and a half. So I'm like kind of zapped. But yeah, I just I wrote this short film that follows a superhero archetype who his alter ego is having a hard time with the pressures that come with being a superhero. Yeah. And he has a mild mental breakdown and seeks therapy. And the idea came about because I was talking with my dad, who's a actor in Utah, and I was like, I'm a cinematographer, you're an actor, like why have we never collabed on anything? Like we've never worked together in any capacity. My dad's the reason that I got into film. Like he showed me all of the sort of cornerstone, like mile marker films of my life, and he was the first one to like lift the curtain and like he would point out like creative choices, like if a cut was bad or if a line was delivered poorly or if there was like an inside joke that was based on like, oh, that joke's funny because these two actors were once in this thing. And so I had to work with him, and so I was like, you should play this therapist that's kind of in a really intense counseling session with this, superhero who's losing his mind. And then I just got to give a shout out to the lead in my movie. Yeah. His name is Ryan Swanson. And it was the first time that I've ever done any directing where I've worked with an actor that auditioned. And we just found this guy and he killed it in the read. And then hiring him was like the best, casting him in that role was the best decision I made because he was not only one of those actors who would truly just disappear into the role, but he was so helpful on set, kind to everybody, so prepared, so thoughtful. He had creative choices because he does some directing too that just like elevated the visual storytelling of the whole thing. And I can't recommend him enough for anybody who is making a film in the Colorado or frankly anywhere. Yeah. Do yourself a favor and cast Ryan Swanson because that guy is going to just elevate every level of that project. But the other shout I wanted to give was my wife, Maggie Hartmans. She has her own company called Farsighted Creative, and she produced the hell out of my movie. Like I would beat around the bush about it. I'd be like, hey, like it could be cool to do this thing with my dad, and she's like, when you finish the script, I'll produce it. And 2 years later, I finally hand her, it's like, okay, here's the finished draft. It's 10 pages. It's 3 locations. Like, can we make this? Yeah. And she just I'd never seen that side of her before. Yeah. Like I'm usually the guy who shoots stuff for her because she doesn't really care. She's less into the production side. She likes more being the overlord of everything. And I'm the guy who's like, give me the camera and go, And so getting to see her in her element was just, I fell more in love with her. I have more respect for what she does as a creative person. And she's even running and representing my booth so that I could come here to do this. So yeah, I just wanted to give shout outs to those people. And that's what I have going on. That's really cool, man. Yeah. So you said you just filmed it this last weekend? Correct. So what's the time frame then? Like what's the timeline for editing and post-production and what does that look like? Well, currently So the timeline right now is that I would love to I'd love to submit it to festivals around September.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to have everything done way before that. This is kind of new waters for me because I'm usually just a cinematographer, content creator, so I don't know I've never been on this side of the festival submission process, but I intend to submit to all of the local festivals. That's the other thing about casting is that like when you cast somebody, they need to not just be able to play the part. They have to be a good hang. Yeah. And everybody on that cast, like my dad, Ryan Swanson, my friend Quinn Antis, who plays another character, like everybody, I can't imagine doing the festival circuit with them because they're all just such great people. Yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent. So I'm hoping to have it done in time for festival season, and I think it'll be a fairly straightforward edit. I'm working with a bunch of friends and colleagues and people that I've met either here at the expo and or through Profoto, where I'm like, hey, I need this. Can I trade you some hours, or how can you give me a quote for this, or like what can we work out? And it's been great. In fact, the DP and the first AC of the movie were walking around over there, and I just hugged them because I've been staring at the dailies all day, and I knew what we got. I was really happy with, but I was just like, I was emotional. I was just like, you guys did such a good job. Their names are Joe Movick and Josh Cook, and they also rent from Profoto. Yeah. They're dudes that similarly to you, we'll talk shop all the time, but I just have, as a Profoto guy, I just love talking gear with them, and then as a cinematographer, I'm always like trying to bring my work up to their level. Not that it's not. I'm just saying like they're creative people that I really aspire to be like, and which is everybody that walks into Profoto. I'm usually like.
I think my business partner Bobby knows Josh Cook. I saw him give a nod when he.
Josh Cook is he's the man. He's such a humble, kind person. So on top of it, so communicative, and I'm just.
Did I hear you say earlier that you said 10 pages? This is a short then, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what's the runtime you think this is going to be?
That's a great question. I'm going to go for 10 minutes. Okay. But I'm going to I'm trying to not be super artsy fartsy, but I really do want to just tell the story the best way possible and not worry so much about the runtime. Yeah. And I'll let my wife chop it up, because the first draft or two was like 20 pages, and she's like, all of this has to go. This isn't, and I was like, but it's so cool. And she's like, I'm sorry, it's just not feasible. And I was like, all right. But yeah, so I'm hoping it'll be around 10 minutes. I'm tremendously thankful for it, and I'm really excited for what it could be in post-production. Yeah. And my description for it was like, it feels like a new crush. I don't know if you have recently had like a new crush, but it
married 20 years, so
yeah. No, it's just
newish, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I turned Maggie and I are almost at 4. But I remember the next day she was like, you're like in a really great mood, and I was like, I have butterflies in my stomach about my movie. Is that
so cool?
Weird? And she was like, no, that's what it's like. And I was like, okay, so great. And but I feel this way about a ton of projects. Like even I had the same feeling like my first trip to Uganda when I was documenting some like well developments out there. Yeah. It was the same feeling. I got home, but in that instance it was like I was depressed because I was here and Uganda was there, and I was like, but here it's like I have this film that's like this narrative story that I was really excited, and I was really surprised on set how much documentary filmmaking translated into narrative filmmaking. Like how it's all the same mechanics in terms of like learning how to visually tell a story, learning how to frame a shot, to have subtext, to kind of play out the dynamics of the characters, and then in terms of like the documentary side, just your basic things like exposure and granted I didn't DP this one, but there's an argument scene between two characters, and at one point I just went up to Joe and I was like, give me the camera, like I just want to shoot this one. And so I just shot coverage of one take, and that was the only take we shot because I thought I nailed it. But anyway, it's just a really cool thing, like when you see how your creative when you see how your different creative skills, like that you think are separate, when you realize that they have way more in common, that's just like that's a really, really profound feeling, I think. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's
cool,
what's
man.
going on with me. But.
Well, not to geek out too much, but I guess anybody that would be interested in a conversation like this would probably actually care. But like, what did you shoot on? I
cannot wait to tell you what we shot on.
Yeah.
So we shot. We had a lot of conversations about it, Joe and I. He owns an Alexa Mini, and as well as like, he has the Sony F55, which they shot The Crown on. That's one that I've really admired because it's kind of a lesser known Sony camera that shoots like an incredible image. Yeah, it's a beast of a camera. I think like even used they're like 25,000. Like it's an insane. I might be fact check me on that, but it's around there. But we decided to go. The therapist's office that we were shooting in was a very, very tight space. So I thought that shooting full frame was important, and all of the cameras he had were APS-C sensors, which on the one hand I do think look more cinematic typically. Like there's a sharpness to it that I think has a real, I don't like that term all the time, cinematic quality, but it's true. It's just, it has this like quality to it that you can imagine playing in a movie theater. But at the same time, I was like, I really want to be able to like get the frames that I want and not be restricted by the APS-C. And also I didn't know what lenses we were going to use. Yeah. So we shot on the C400, the Canon the Canon EOS C400, and we also shot on a C70 as a B cam for just because I had
great cameras.
I think I had my first round of storyboards had like 28 like setups or 28 shots. And Maggie's like, I need you to get this down to 20. And so I like did some, nip tucking, for lack of a better term. And and then we shot with the B cam and everything was fine. And then Josh lent us his, I'm blanking on the name. He has this set of like awesome vintage lenses that he hasn't even bothered rehousing. They're just like these amazing primes, and he has them all. He did have them all adapted for EF mount, so we were able to use it on the Canon C400, and the footage looks great. The performances, I was so happy with. Just the way that like everybody covered the like every direction I gave, it was like I would give a note and they would adapt the note, and just watching them do what I said was like, holy crap. But so we shot on the C400.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
We're Canon guys as well, as you can see.
Yes, we got a
couple of them at least.
Yeah, you have quite the array. Yeah. I really enjoy Canon. I think that
I think they have the best color codec of any of the cameras, in my opinion. But you're shooting log, I'm sure, but I still think just their color grading is just incredible.
Yeah, for Pro Photo Rental, our YouTube content, I always shoot Canon just because of the fast turnaround, because of the in-body color.
Yep.
For my personal projects, I'm more of a Sony guy because I think Sony, you get a little more. I like the features at the price point that Sony has, if that makes sense.
No, totally. We're rocking one of those too.
Yeah.
I like Sony's.
Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely. And we got a Panasonic. We got a little bit of everything. But I do like the Canons quite a bit.
Panasonic doesn't get rented enough. We have a S1H that just it's a tragedy because it's an incredible camera that just the people who know it's incredible rent it, but so.
I've had my GH5 for I want to say 12 years, and that thing still holds up. We still use it. I mean, it's our roaming cam right now. We haven't roamed a lot today, but it's a great camera. Well, it looks like they're starting to wrap things up here.
Yeah, we're getting kicked out. This is great.
The lights have come on, but Cam, thanks so much. If there's any, I know you gave some shout outs for the people involved in your film. I definitely want to give a shout out to Pro Photo Rental. Those guys have saved my ass over the last several years. Just things we needed to pinch like today, or just things that I couldn't afford to buy when I was getting started, and I was able to rent at a very cheap price. So if you're in the creative space, anywhere in the Front Range, or you guys ship, frankly, anywhere in the country, check these guys out for sure. And
we'll make it happen.
You're going to check out your film too. You got to let me know when that thing is available to be viewed.
I would love to. I will let you know. That'd be great to share with you.
Awesome.
For sure.
Cam, thanks so much, man.
Brian, you're the best, man.
I always like talking to you.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother.
All right.